thousand from the building reserve into the heating inspector.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second. Thank you.
Seconded by Shelley. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, it's money, so could you please take a roll call on it? Carrie, I'm sorry.
Bob DePalma.
Yes?
Patty Back.
Yes.
Shelley Kidd.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Gina Musarelli.
Yes.
Okay. Next item, Patty, that's yours too.
Yep, the
payable.
accounts payables, in 101, we paid out $31,091.53, that's the general fund. In 249, which is the building, it was $457.45. And in 701, that's the trust and agency account where we hold money, and once a project is done or a bill comes in for someone who's doing a project, we pay it out of there. That was $280. The total was $31,828.98. And the fire department fund for the month was $20,592.08 for fire account payments. So my motion is we approve the accounts payables as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Shelley. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, would you take a roll call on that, please, Carrie?
Patty Back.
Yes.
Shelley Kidd.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Gina Musarelli.
Yes.
Bob DePalma.
Yes. Okay, then anything else on financial reports that you wanted to make, Patty?
No.
No? Then we'll move on to investment report, Shelley.
The investment report, I don't have the report ready. I had the auditor in today helping me with an item on there, but I have checked all the funds. Star ratings, they're all in 5-star, so they're good one. Next month I will have it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that moves to public hearing. There's nothing on the agenda for tonight. Moves to presentations, nothing there tonight. Nothing under unfinished business, so we move right into new business. And the first item to discuss is appointment of a deputy treasurer. Shelley?
Yeah. After going over the resumes, and there was a few options that was taken off the table, but for my deputy, it's $50, and I did find someone that applied for the position that was willing to take it. So I would like to appoint Nicole Tolliver as my deputy.
Okay, that's, I don't know if we even have to make a motion because it's really the treasurer's decision.
Right, but I do have to swear her in, and I didn't bring my book. I can get it, though. Everybody would like to move? Sure.
This is the one for virtual pause.
Right.
I'll stand up here. Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole.
Uh-oh, somebody has the book. Yeah.
Oh, it is? You are your name. Yeah, she's my best friend in high school. Actually, she's still my very good friend.
I don't know. She keeps it. Is she getting it out? Yeah, looks like she gets it.
She's going in your house.
Bob. No, she's in the Bob. It's not in. What?
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay.
Swearing in.
Here.
Are you okay with it?
I'm not gonna make it.
Can't we say?
You want me to make you repeat it?
Okay. So, State of Michigan, County of Oakland, I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Deputy Treasurer in and for the Township of Groveland, County of Oakland, and State of Michigan, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I do.
I will have you something right there. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole.
Next item on the agenda is hiring of part-time personnel. Patty, I think this one's yours.
Yes, okay. And Danielle's here. So when Teresa took the full-time position for the treasurer's office, it left myself without somebody for elections and other duties in a part-time position that Teresa had done. So I went through the applications and I pulled a couple of them out. One in particularly was Danielle, because she had written in her letter, her cover letter, that she would like to do part-time work. So we interviewed her, I had her come in, spoke with her, and then
I spoke with it first.
Bob and Shelley, we all sat down and talked and introduced her to the office. And then I had one other gal who came in also, and we decided to hire Danielle Wilcox. So my motion is that we hired Danielle Wilcox part-time for election and to assist with payroll, accounts payable, and other various tasks, with her start date to be determined upon her background check being approved and her other paperwork here in the township office being filled out. So once we get those started, which I'm thinking it would be within the month, we would give her a start date. Okay? That's my motion.
Okay, so second?
I can second that.
Okay, second by Gina.
And this is Danielle Wilcox. She has worked for Groveland Township for a while and
Genesee County.
Genesee County. And she's worked at Beaky. Some of you might recognize her. She was this lady, she told me, so.
Okay, motion was made and seconded. Any questions from the board? Okay, all in favor, well, it's actually for paying positions, so take a roll call.
Shelley Kidd,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Musarelli,
Yes.
Bob DiPalma.
Yes.
Patty Back.
Okay.
Yes.
Next item is to discuss reappointing Jim Kelly to the Planning Commission. He's been a good member. I see no reason not to. Unless anybody on the board has some question, that would be my motion to reappoint Jim Kelly to the Planning Commission.
I will
And I
second.
think, Jim, you've been working with him on the PC. Does a good job. Is there a second to that?
I just did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, Carrie, take a roll call on that, too.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Musarelli,
Yes.
Bob DiPalma.
Yes.
Patty Back.
Yes.
Shelley Kidd.
Yes.
Next item is to discuss the no-haz interlocal agreement. And you're pretty used to seeing this, I think. It comes by every year for the first time now in 3 years. There's an increase in it because the only vendor that even bids on it now is the company we've been using. They haven't raised the rates in 3 years, and as most of you probably know from what you see in the paper or on MSN, the recyclable market's kind of gone the heck in a bushel basket because nobody wants the stuff anymore, so it's actually costing more to get rid of it. But most of the communities, to the best of my knowledge, have agreed to pick up most of the increase. We only charge our residents about $10 so that there's some buy-in to what it costs, but it's really, I think it was about $53 to get rid of a carload of it there. But I would recommend we reapprove the no-haz contract as submitted, and it's because it's a county contract, you can't change it anyway. And I think I'm appointed on there
Yourself
as
to be
the contact person that goes to the meeting for every year.
To execute the agreement.
Yeah. So that's my motion. Is there a
Second.
comment? Okay, any questions or comments from the board? We talked about this at some length before. Okay, Carrie, would you do a roll call, please?
Gina Musarelli,
Yes.
Bob DiPalma,
Yes.
Patty Back,
Yes.
Shelley Kidd,
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Okay, now, when we get the draft of the minutes, we need to send that along with
Yes.
the contract. I'll sign them up too, okay? Okay, next item is discuss the budget workshop. Got to grab the calendar. Let me grab it real quick.
I also want to remind everybody that the MTA, Gina, I think you were the only one that was not gonna go on the 16th of January. Jim, I don't know if you put it in your calendar.
I think I do have it. I have it.
You do? Good. Okay.
We get pictures too?
Yeah.
All right. We usually do that in February because we gotta have it on the March agenda.
Yes, we do. Do you have a, you wanna look, Gina?
Yeah, I'm. Only if that's my business.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess, 'cause I got a lot of stuff the last of the month here that I gotta get done, but I'll get started on the budget for us, but I'm gonna suggest, if it's agreeable to everybody, that we do it on February the 12th, and then if we need a second work date, we'll pick it then, if we don't get it all done, but typically, if I can get it all teed up and we do it in one meeting, we usually get the whole thing done, so Chief, you'll need to do the fire department, Kevin, and the 12th is the day I'm suggesting we look at it, and I don't know when it's a
What?
work session where we end up trying to get it ready for presentation for the March meeting, so I'm suggesting the 12th, maybe at, I don't know, I'm open to suggestion 3 o'clock.
Sure, sure.
Is that good?
Anybody else?
Volume? 3 PM, budget work. 3 PM, yeah.
And I will give you.
I'll give it to you tomorrow, all this stuff I need. I started to put a list together, stuff I'll need from you and stuff from her, and we'll get it together tomorrow, get started.
Okay.
I pulled up the revenue runs for the township from the state website today, so I've got part of it already started. Okay, next item on the agenda is discuss the date for the fire department review when we complete everything. Chief, I know I talked to you this morning a little bit, and do you think, I'm asking, do you think you'll have that revisions on those sheets for me by tomorrow or the next day, or what's good for you?
Wednesday. I'll be coming up Wednesday anyway, so.
Okay,
Talk to the Patty.
Wednesday, okay. I think I'll have everything in to me by Wednesday.
That'd be January or February.
January.
January, the 15th, but that's not the day we're gonna have a meeting. I gotta have a chance to look at it and go over it with them and that kind of stuff. I guess I'm gonna suggest the 29th, just to give me some time to work on it in case, okay? I might be able to get it sooner than that, but I've got a bunch of stuff. We leave the
Yeah,
25th.
Gina.
Ooh.
And I won't be back until the 4th.
February.
All vacations have been canceled from around.
No, this is my family Christmas, finally, because I've spent the last 2 weeks with my dad. No. I'm going to see my grandkids.
Wow, I don't know if I can get it done by the 21st,
Well,
because I don't know when I
what
gotta
time
have
do you
this.
back on the 4th? We had to.
I'm driving. I dropped the kids off at the Pittsburgh airport that are flying over the West Coast, and then I'll head home from there, so, probably not until 9 o'clock at night, and that's if it doesn't snow.
We're not coming back at 9 o'clock on Tuesday night.
Do you think we could do it Wednesday, the 5th? I hate to put it off that long, I just don't think it's possible to get it done before then. I got a meeting scheduled on the 5th at Will's office in the morning, so I'll be kind of tied up all morning, so I can't do it until later on the 5th, but.
If we can do it later, yes, I have an
Okay,
appointment at
what-
noon.
What time works for
That's a
you?
good point, you bringing that up, because I had the election commission meeting at 11 a.m. on the 5th, so
Yeah,
we'll have
so
to,
it'll have to be
I'll
just-
have to move
just
that.
the afternoon.
That's fine.
What time it works for everybody?
I'm here all day.
Other than the morning, I mean, I am, so if you do it.
Say after 3:30? I can be
4
fine.
o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, does that sound good?
4 o'clock on the 5th?
Yeah.
What meeting is this from?
To go over the fire budget information for the finish of the study? All right, that'll be, what did they say? 5th, right?
The 5th at 4. Fire budget,
Okay.
fire.
All right, moves on to resolutions. We do have a couple here tonight. I don't know if anybody knows this, but there has been a huge amount of discussion about the RTA, which stands for the Rapid Transit Authority. What's going on is, if you remember, I think in 16 and in 18, there was an effort by the county, or actually by a couple of counties, to try and approve a Rapid Transit Authority bill that they wanted to put through. It got defeated soundly in Macomb County, and it got defeated in Oakland County. And Brooks Patterson's reason for objecting to it was, he felt that many of us in Oakland County were gonna get absolutely nothing out of this Rapid Transit Authority. What it was at that time, I believe, was a proposal to spend either 1.2 or 1.5 mils initially for funding this transit authority for, what was originally going to be Macomb, Oakland, Wayne, and Washtenaw County. And it was soundly defeated in Macomb, and it was defeated in Oakland. And so this is the third go-around for them to try and get it through. The new county commissioner, Dave Holder, is from Ferndale, and he thinks they need to do something like this. And you can imagine that what happens is, I think there's a strong support for it within Washtenaw and Wayne County, because they want to do a rail line, I believe, from Detroit to Ann Arbor. And I think there's some support from Wayne County to the south end of Oakland County, because I think they'd like to increase the bus transit and stuff up to like the Royal Oak area. But all of the supervisors who meet in the Oakland County Association of Township Supervisors got together with Dave Coulter a couple weeks ago, and we all made it really clear at our OCATS lunch in Independence that we were, with the exception of one, I guess I would say, we were all firmly opposed to this, because the tax that's been bandied around for this is frankly more than you and I pay to operate your own township. And the amount of benefit that I think we would get out of this is virtually either non-existent or very close to non-existent. So if you put a 1.2 mil tax increase in, for example, you're probably going to get, roughly speaking, on average, about $135 or $40 tax increase for this transit system. And what all the supervisors up in the north end, north of M59, felt is this money is just basically a method for trying to steal the money from the north end to fund whatever they want to do on the south end. So my computer has been full of email messages last week and all day today from different people trying to get us to all do resolutions to oppose the Rapid Transit Authority bill. It was originally, I believe, scheduled to be voted on tomorrow. So, I called our state rep today and told him, hey, I think I forgot to send this to you, but we're opposed to it, we're voting on it tonight. And he called me back and said, yeah, I know, everybody's up against it. There's probably about 20 or 30 of them that already said they'll oppose it, but they're all Republicans, so I don't know for sure whether or not it'll get stopped or not. One of the things they did a few weeks ago, maybe about 2 months ago, is originally, in order to pass it, they had it set up so that all of the counties that were in it had to pass it for it to go through. Then, about 2-3 months ago, they decided up in Lansing, well, we're gonna change that rule, and we're gonna say, if 2 of the 3 pass it, it goes through. So they left Macomb out of it, and so even if we were to say no, if Washtenaw and Wayne County said yes, guess what? You're gonna get a tax increase. And so the supervisors in Oakland County have been very vocal in opposing this and doing everything we can to stop it. And I give credit to Pat Kittle in Independence. He's kind of been one of the people spearheading this for all of us and making sure that everybody's getting flooded with these resolutions. So tonight in front of us, we have a couple of resolutions that we have to either recommend and approve and adopt or not. There's actually 4 of them. One of them is a resolution opposing the rapid transit bill for the reasons I outlined to you. And we basically used Addison's, which is another general law township, and kind of frankly plagiarized it, just put our name in it in other places, opposing it. There's another one that all of the Oakland County supervisors want to send in mass to our legislators that tells them that all of us have adopted a resolution which basically says the same thing, that we oppose it, and they want to do it representing all the OCATS supervisors. So that's in here. Those 2 are basically the same thing. And then there's a third one from Oakland County Board of Commissioners that says we approved it and sent us a copy of the resolution. So I would suspect we want to say we don't approve it and support it. And then there's another resolution from the county that's talking about non-discriminatory practices. It's kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, apple pie and motherhood. So I think we want to approve that one. So that's the 4 resolutions that are in your package here tonight. And I suppose just to be safe, we should probably adopt them or reject them one at a time. But that's the gist of what the bulk of the paper is in your package today. It's resolutions essentially all saying that, and if you read through it, that's what you'll see. So the first one is really the resolution to that we plagiarized really from Addison that says we oppose the Rapid Transit Authority for the reasons I mentioned earlier, and so I'd like to make a motion that we adopt that resolution.
I second that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, and then all opposed. And then the second one that's in the package you have, I think, let me make sure I got these, I wrote on the top, so I'm through here. This is Addison's, okay. The second one is from the Oakland County Register of Clerks Deeds in Office. Joe Roselli sent it, that basically says they approved it and support it. I think we should go on record, and I'm suggesting we make a motion that says we do not support the county's position on the rapid transit bill. So that's my motion.
I second that.
Okay. Is there any other comments from the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The third one is the non-discrimination policy which the county sent, and it's hard to argue against that. That's for sure, and I don't think we would want to. So I would suggest that we adopt that resolution and support it. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. And then the last one was the one that we wrote for OCATS, and that one I had to stick in here because we got that late this afternoon. And that one is basically also opposing House Bill 5229, that's the bill on the RTA. And so I'm suggesting we make a motion to support that resolution. Is there a second to
I'll
that?
second that.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Not all who approve say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we just killed a tree tonight, folks.
Sorry. I don't want- yeah.
But we're all,
You went too fast for me.
I'm
It's
sorry.
the revision that we're supporting, because the revision provides an opt-out. We are not supporting the House bill, we're supporting the
we're-
revised House bill.
which basically says we don't
Okay.
support the bill unless it's got the revision.
Okay.
Right, yeah, there's 3 or 4 versions of this
Okay.
floating around, and essentially it's one is for it and one isn't, and Some of them say if you have a revision for an opt-out, which is what they're trying to do, and I think you said you talked to Ruth,
I did.
our senator, today, and we're cautiously optimistic that we might prevail on this, but I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Be vocal.
Pardon?
Be vocal.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's what I had on that, and then the last one is the non-discrimination one, we did that also, that was for the county. We can go to miscellaneous reports and then public comment. Jim, do you want to have anything for the planning commission?
Nothing new in the planning commission. We're expecting next month, if I'm right, Carrie,
The end of this month.
yeah, for Holly Motorsports to come in.
And I think the plan got submitted to us too for the ORV park,
Yeah.
right, for January, right? Okay,
That's it.
okay,
BZ is tomorrow.
BZA, nothing yet, okay. There's a couple, I think, coming up on the BZA tomorrow, right?
Right.
Okay, and then treasurer's office, anything you want to report?
Not this time.
Okay, anything for clerks?
Well, we're working on the election, we're getting out our AV apps that are, we haven't gotten our, we have not yet gotten our ballots back or anything.
Did you get any laptops?
We did get new laptops, yes, yes. That's on the agenda this week to pull them out and make sure what we need on them is on them.
I have a meeting coming up in January for the sewers, I think it was January or February, let me see, I got it written down here. It's, I'm sorry, February 6th. So I don't have anything new to report on that, but like I told you in previous meetings, well, I think the sewers on the Dixie corridor for the commercial development would be nice. It started out at 6 to 8 million, which we frankly think we almost had from participants that need to either fix a treatment plant at a recreation area, or what we would have to do on the township property, and what Shannon Fasteners would have to do to connect anyway. The next meeting that went to 11.66 million estimate, and then the last meeting we had, it went up to, maybe it's 19 million. And so, now you understand why so many of these sewer projects that start out never get done. The number they give you at the beginning and the one they give you by the end is always wildly different. In February, we're gonna have a meeting. We'll continue to follow this up, because I think if it's possible, it'd be nice, because there's probably $8 million worth of money that's going to be spent in that corridor part, irrespective of what we do. It seems like it would be better to put it into a treatment plant for the environment than it would be to have a bunch of separate septic systems that potentially don't last forever anyway. But it's just too early to tell you if anything's going to happen on it. That's all I have to report, really, so at this stage, I'll move to public comment, and if anybody wants to make public comment, this is the opportunity to do so. Yeah, Sue?
Hi, I'm Sue Taylor, 508 North Brant Road. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
The meeting that's going to take place on February 5th at 4 o'clock for the fire review,
Mhm.
is that a public open meeting?
Sure.
Okay, and do you know what will be covered during that meeting?
The intent of that is to take the analysis that we've been looking at over the last year and compare the solution that Chief Mason's giving us and whatever it is that the North Oakland Fire Authority presents to us.
And
So
a
we'll be
dis-
looking at those.
Okay, a decision will not be made that day?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what we see. I'm not saying it will or won't. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's the intent of it is to review the analysis, and there's a couple of times we've come here and then there's something else that's come up. I think we've pretty well got everything covered. There could be a decision that day, I don't know.
So, well, with that, the meeting being on the 5th, wouldn't you present your findings at the at the February board meeting to the residents?
Well, we could present it at the 5th meeting as well. I mean, I'm sure if we do.
Well, at
we'll
4
present it
o'clock in
again
the
at 5th.
afternoon, residents aren't going to be able to attend. Attendance would be slim. So I would request that whatever the findings are at that meeting, that they be presented at the February board meeting, when residents can be in attendance.
I suppose we could present the findings again. I don't see a
It's not
problem with
gonna
that.
change the findings.
Yeah.
so.
Okay, and then also I have another question. Where are we on the status of the board packages being available to the residents?
I just heard about it today.
Okay, because we've requested it 3 times already.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
So
today.
whether it's online, or if we can request it via email. A resident did contact the township today and
Okay.
request it via email, and they were denied.
Okay, well,
So-
I'll look into it tomorrow, find out what the deal is on it.
Okay.
That's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, because we did some research, and out of 10 townships, including Groveland Township, surrounding townships, there are only 2 that do not disclose that. That would be Groveland and Rose.
Okay.
But it's the board package, because we're out here in the gallery while you're going through your package, and we have no idea what you're going through
Okay.
and referencing.
I'll look into it and
So,
see what, if we can do something on that.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Bob,
Yeah.
a resident asked me the same question, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, anything else?
Good evening. My name is Paul Young. I'm from Brighton, Michigan. So you may be asking yourself, although I've started to distribute some of my materials, so you may know the answer. Why is someone from Livingston County here in Groveland Township in Oakland County? What do they have in common? Well, they're both in the 8th Congressional District. Again, my name is Paul Young, and for those of you that have the flyers, I spell it a little bit different. It's Junge. When I was a kid, my buddies called me Jungie, but it's a German name, and Germans would have said Junge, but my family's always pronounced it Young. And I am running for Congress.
Oh,
And I am running for Congress because as I have walked across Ingham County and Livingston County, the north part of Oakland County, and down into Rochester and Rochester Hills that make up the 8th District, the overwhelming voice of the people of the 8th District has been, we are fed up with the member who is representing us in Congress today. We need to make Alyssa Slotkin a one-term member of the House of Representatives. My name is Paul Young, and I intend to be the person that makes that happen. I'm pleased to pass out some of my materials. I have some nominating petitions if anyone's interested to sign and help me get my name on the ballot. I could go on about some of the reasons that I think many of you probably share, because again, as I'm all over the district, I hear so many, and they're all very good reasons why Alyssa Slotkin should not continue to represent us. She just does not have the conservative values that I think almost just a strong majority of this district have. So I know that there is a 3-minute limit, and I want to respect that. But I will stay after the meeting if anyone would like to talk with me further. Again, my last name is Junge, but I pronounce that Paul Young. I do have my nominating petitions. Be happy to speak with you, and thank you for the opportunity to introduce
Can I
myself.
ask you what party you're running for?
I am a Republican. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
This
I'm
lady,
sorry, somebody.
My name is Christy Williams, 11125 Court Road. The last heated fire department meeting, the day after I contacted you and asked you if there was an agreement with the NACFA, and you said that you were writing a letter and you had presented NACFA to see if they were even interested. What was the result of that?
They are interested in the possibility.
Okay, is there an agreement written
No,
up? Not
no,
yet?
no.
Okay, when you, after the
Well,
February
I think
5th?
after we look at the study results, we decide if that's where we're going or not.
Okay.
So until we do that,
and-
it's not anything done.
Are you going to make that available to the public once it's?
Oh, if we
Okay.
go that way, yes, we'll make whatever.
No,
else
I mean,
available
just
to-
the agreement in general, the yes, I've received a response and this is their offer.
She's been looking over before.
Yes.
Oh, when we get something that looks like a final of whatever they're proposing and the final whatever chief is, I'll make both of them available.
Okay.
We've done that all along. from the
Okay.
beginning.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Chris Fleckenstein, 5631 Perryville Road. Can I get a clarification on the new deputy positions? So we've got a new deputy clerk, full-time, part-time
No,
deputy treasurer
we've,
now, right?
Carrie has been the deputy clerk for some time.
Okay, so,
What we did was we took a part-time employee, Teresa Bills, and made her the full-time staff support person, and she'll be doing mostly treasurer work. It's typically what happens on that position. But the actual deputy treasurer is picked by the treasurer, and she picked Nicole, whoever I'm sorry, there you go. Okay.
Okay, so why wouldn't the new deputy treasurer be doing that work instead of Teresa?
Because the position's always been the general staff support function, and we're not gonna add another headcount to the office.
Okay. So in June 2009, deputy treasurer, deputy clerk were separate positions. It's in the minutes, when Patty was hired, I think.
Deputy?
Clerk and deputy treasurer, and that's when they were
Yes.
put together.
And then, yes, in 2009. Do you want to speak to that?
No, go ahead.
It was, it came about that they were administrative positions with a stipend for the deputy positions. As several, what do I want to say, electeds were being how do I want to put it? People that were being elected and had no idea how to do the job. That, I don't mean that, negatively. So what was being found is that the people who were your administrative people in the office, such as myself when I sat there and Shelley when she sat there, we knew how to do the jobs, okay? But when you get somebody new elected in, they were getting rid of those people. So by giving them a deputy stipend, it kept the office flowing, is what the gist behind it is. It keeps, did you follow that?
Kinda, it just seems like it would make more sense if the deputy clerk or the deputy treasurer did the treasurer job.
Correct. But it was so that, people were getting elected, didn't know how to do the job. The first thing they did was get rid of the deputy for whatever reason. And then there you all were. And I can attest, I was doing some education at that time. There were a lot of clerks that were in the education wanting to know when the county clerk was going to come and train her or him, because they had gotten rid of the person that knew how to do what needed to be done in the office to do the job. So that's what I believe, well, actually I know that's what was behind it when the board made that decision.
So when they put them back together from being separate.
Do what now?
When they were put together under one.
Yes. Yes. That's what was the motivation behind it. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Kinda, I just,
Okay.
I mean, if I don't understand why we have a deputy treasurer that isn't doing the treasurer job instead of Teresa doing it. As far as qualifications, if you're hiring someone to do a job, and why are they not?
We typically have tried to keep people involved that work for us part-time if they want to go to full-time in there, if we know they meld well with the office and are capable of doing the work. The deputy positions are always just assigned to one of the two ladies that worked in the office before. But she doesn't have to do that way. It's her discretion. So if she wants to have somebody else technically assigned as the deputy, all that person's really got to be able to do is kind of get in and be able to sign checks if you're sick or off work.
Oh, there's more
Something
to
like
it
that.
than that. Yeah, I'm sure there's money in
You just said that the treasurer was doing all this work. And now you're saying all she does is sign checks. That's what
No,
we're at here.
deputy.
Yeah.
No.
The deputy only signs checks, but you just said that all
No, I said that the treasurer does other things. I'm not disputing that.
Okay,
The
but I'm
deputy has been the position we've always assigned to one in the office because we've never had a big staff in the office,
Mhm.
okay? But if she doesn't want to assign it to one of those people, that's her prerogative.
But I guess that's kind of the point.
But why didn't it get assigned by her?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
At the workshop meeting.
No, it
you-
was.
No, you suggested that their payroll was something that you weren't.
I suggested I wanted it separated.
You wanted
I
it
wanted
separated.
the
Right,
position
so
that
you
we
wanted
were
to be
taking
able
control of
to
my part.
appoint a deputy, which you did today, because you didn't like that gray area of the payroll.
That
in
was
your
not
mind.
the whole thing.
Well, that's what
But
you brought.
because it was supposed to be going over resumes, I didn't know that we weren't gonna go over resumes and you guys already had someone
We did before we
decided.
came here. We all got the same 20 resumes you did.
But I looked at some and nobody even asked my opinion at all. I mean,
We
You
watched the
you
video.
emailed,
you and he seconded
wait a minute,
it.
you
No, let me
emailed us
finish.
your
You
suggestions. Jim and I got emails from you.
No, you didn't.
You want me to pull them up right now?
Of my suggestions?
You emailed 2 resumes
I,
to Jim and
because
I.
I received them. I gave them to you guys to look over. I didn't recommend any of them. I sent them over, there's 2 more resumes we received. So that was it.
So we all looked at the exact same ones.
But you guys already made up your decision without even my input at all. And you both, neither of you asked what my needs were. You both assumed.
Again, at the workshop, I asked you, what am I looking for when I look at these resumes? And you
And I
said,
told
what
you
you
it
put
was
in the
constantly
paper.
changing. And we were to go over it so we could have interviews. And the interviews did not happen.
And you admitted, you asked Teresa yourself.
That was a year ago and things have changed in a year.
That's exactly why she applied.
And things on my end too, it's not just one-sided.
So why'd you vote yes?
Because I voted yes that I want to appoint my deputy tonight.
But why'd you
you
vote
did.
yes
And I
to
did.
support Teresa?
As she can go ahead and be an office administrator.
Right.
Okay.
She's,
Okay,
Okay, it's done then.
because that's what the position was.
Okay.
that's because
Any
it
other-
was divided.
Sue?
Again, I just wanted to follow up with your questions. Any of the information that you have compiled for the fire review, that would fall under the Freedom of Information
Oh, sure.
Act.
There's nothing in the
So-
office that's not, the only
Okay.
thing that's not in the office under FOIA requirements is a personnel issue unless the person
Right, or
involved
pertaining
doesn't
to
want or if
law
it's,
enforcement, et
no, if it's
cetera. No,
a
it's
lease or something
law
like that.
enforcement, yeah, it would
we don't do the law
interfere with law
enforcement.
enforcement, deprive a person of a right for a fair trial, blah, 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 blah. But with that, all of the information that you have compiled, is there any way that that information could be scanned and put on the website so that we will have?
You would be looking at 2 years of reams of scribbled notes and things that are there that may or may not even have any relevance now. The whole purpose of what's going to happen in February is to gel it down to what is it we're actually getting proposed. And when I have that, you're welcome to that information. I've never
Okay.
held any of the study information back.
And will that information be put on the ballot for the residents to vote on what they would like to see happen
I
with
don't
their
think
fire
so.
department?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So the 5 of you are going to dictate what we're going to do with our fire department regardless of how the residents feel.
The 5 of us are probably going to make the administrative decision on what happens with the fire department.
And the
Okay.
medical control authority has a say as well.
I was talking about a preliminary agreement, not a final.
I don't have an agreement.
Okay, but I'm saying when you get the preliminary agreement, can I call here and also review it?
I think
to see
what
what
you-
you're looking at?
I think you should be getting the agreement when I actually know what it's going to look like.
No, I would like to see the preliminary agreement,
Well,
to see what you're doing, and then see if you're voting on it. Everyone should see the final agreement. Everybody should be on board.
Everybody will see the recommendations that are made when we have them, and you can see them in their complete entirety. I
So
don't- I don't know
after you
if society
voted
wants-
on them, here's
No.
the agreement that we signed. That's
No,
what you're
no, I
saying.
think you can see it before we vote on whatever it is.
Okay, so
It's
that's
just
a
I-
preliminary agreement, correct?
Well, it would be
Because
the
it's not
agreement that's the
signed and it's
proposal.
What's that?
It would be the agreement that they're proposing, is
Right.
what you'd see, yeah.
Right, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
At the last meeting when we had for the fire station, I and some people had asked if there could be a special meeting once you had all of the information, so you can put it forth before you voted on it. And you sounded like you were maybe in agreement with that, just so we knew what the options were for the township.
I think that's what we'll be looking at on the 5th, yeah. But I mean, we're trying to conclude it now to get to the final answer.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Corey Chestnut, 2635 Groveland Road. I said it last meeting, but I'll say it again. With it being a year with ballots being printed and everything, it would cost very little for this issue to be put on a ballot. And I think you're doing a great disservice to the people who voted you in or didn't vote you in to not allow them to vote on it themselves.
Okay, any other comments? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, not, motion to adjourn this meeting and move to the fire meeting. Okay, chief, we're all here, meeting's yours.
We ended up the year with 948 calls, pretty close to the 950 we projected.
Pretty close.
Last, I didn't include the normal summary sheet for some reason, I don't know. Last year we ended up with 1101 calls, so about 150 calls less than last year. I included a new report which breaks down our calls.
I like this report.
I did too.
The only error on here that I can see is that it codes everything as mostly Station 2. There was all those calls didn't go out of Station 2. We didn't just do 2-3 calls out of Station 1 or out of Station 2.
You know,
Not off the top of my head, but it's pretty close to 50-50 now. And then the following two sheets are the individual incidents. We had a meeting with the officers last week, and we're working on projects for the rest of for this year now, and we're just going forward. We're already at 33 calls for this month, so this month's going pretty
hey,
well.
a fire this morning, right?
Car fire this month, correct.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, nothing else? Motion is in order to adjourn. Okay, for a second? Okay, questions or comments? No? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Okay.